So this is gonna be my least viewed video, strap in. Some of you guys know that I like My Little Pony and not just Star Wars. It's really subtle, but it's there. Well, every like 10 years they reboot the My Little Pony franchise. It's tradition. And we're coming up on the newest reboot cycle, which would be Generation 5, G5. And I guess it is going forward because some hackers leaked a bunch of content, allegedly from Hasbro, about how it's all gonna go down. And that's not okay. But I read it. It was super interesting to see all the inside talk about how they were going to change the show. And to me, the most interesting was the Applejack Problem. See, the current My Little Pony has 6 characters, and they're all kind of common personality archetypes. So you have like the tomboy and the bookworm, and then the 6th one is just a cowgirl. Like cowboy is a personality type. And this is a thing that I guess didn't resonate well with little girls, go figure. But what they were discussing in the emails is that this might mean some major changes to Applejack. Like getting rid of her, or making her an antagonist, or making her a boy. And they were like, whatever we do, we definitely should not make her Southern or a farmer anymore. And I was like, no, we can't lose Applejack. Like, can make her what? Like the song and dance pony? Applejack is the weirdest thing in My Little Pony, and she can't go anywhere. And I was like, how would I solve the Applejack problem? And it all kind of snowballed in my fevered mind, so hear me out. Here is my Generation 5 reboot of My Little Pony. So first I'm going to start with the setting. I really like the current vibe where it's high fantasy, but the My Little Pony series that I grew up watching was My Little Pony Tales. And My Little Pony Tales is a very weird show. In that series there was no magic. They just kind of went to a school. It was actually entirely incidental that they were horses at all. It's just kind of horses in a high school. Actually, can that be what we call my reboot? Can it be called Horses in a High School? But anyway, I think having school-age characters is a really good idea for a kids show. Kids love boarding school stories, and having your characters in school means they can learn new skills and sneak around and break rules. So they're basically at Horse Hogwarts, and the school can be in a castle. It can be a purple castle. You can make it out of that sick clear plastic with sparkles in it, and the school is in like a lush valley with a spooky forest next to it. So the alleged emails suggested that unlike other reboots, they actually want to keep the current cast of 6 characters. They just want to change them a little bit. So in my reboot, these ponies have all come to the school from different pony kingdoms. They're all different kinds of ponies. Just think of the toy line variety, okay? You can have color-changing hair. You can have metallic ponies. You can have ponies that smell like dessert. I don't know how you convey that in animation, but so this school is founded by the beautiful Princess Celestia, and it is a school of pony magic. And the school is called Sparkle Swirl Academy, the Pinwheel Rainbowberry School of Liberal Arts, Pony Magic School, working title. You're probably immediately like, wait, if this is a magic school, why are they all here if only unicorn ponies can do magic? Which, that's a wonderful question. In this universe, all ponies have some aptitude for magic, and the ones with the greatest potential have been summoned to this prestigious school. But all ponies need some kind of conduit in order to practice magic. And it's not a magic wand. We're not selling sticks at Toys R Us, okay? It's some kind of awesome jewelry thing, like a bracelet or a necklace or a tiara, and the toys can come with matching people-sized ones, and then the little girls can wear the matching magic conduits, and they'll love it. I think of everything. So they need those to do magic, and there's some kind of cool ceremony where they pick out the ones that they're going to use, and that can be in the pilot episode. But since they're just students, when they're not in class, the conduits stay locked up safe with the teachers, which can be like a challenge to overcome. So the ponies have all come to Pony Magic School, working title, and none of them have met each other yet, so let's meet the cast. Okay, so our protagonist is still Twilight Sparkle. They did this weird thing in the current show where they introduced another pony that's like the same character Her name is Starlight Glimmer, which is an uncannily similar name. So I'm gonna combine the two of them. Starlight Glimmer is a little less bookworm and a little more mad scientist, and I think that's cute, so I'm gonna go with that. So Twilight Sparkle is very curious. She likes to take the spells that she's given and tweak them and try to invent new ones and improve upon them. She's a unicorn. I don't want her to have wings anymore. She doesn't need them. And I want her to wear glasses. We don't know much about her backstory because Princess Celestia found her in the woods on the school grounds over the summer break, and she took her in, and Twilight Sparkle doesn't remember anything before that. Kids love mystery orphans, and they love angst. That's why they love Elsa. Twilight Sparkle feels she owes a lot to Princess Celestia, so she like hero worships her. She's like, let's hang out, let's talk about magic. Princess Celestia is like, okay. She tries to keep her at arm's length, kind of. She puts out a vibe like she isn't comfortable with ponies being this familiar with her, probably because she's royalty. She gets updates about Twilight Sparkle's progress, and she does not like that Twilight is taking this outside the box approach to magic. Twilight Sparkle's been living on this empty campus all summer, so she's super excited for the other ponies to arrive because she wants to make friends. And this, she doesn't hate friendship, she just doesn't have friends. So when we first meet Twilight Sparkle, she's like wandering the castle grounds. She's doing something dorky, like rehearsing how her making friends is going to go. There's like a little lizard that runs by on the ground, and like, since it's the cute pony world, the lizard is purple, and she puts her nose down to the ground and she starts following the lizard and pretending the lizard is the one she's making friends with. Lizard doesn't speak English, it's just a lizard, so it's trying to run away. It's all super cute, and then she stumbles and she looks up and the lizard scampers away over like a piece of rubble, and she looks up and she's somewhere on the castle grounds that she has never been before. It's bits of wall, like the crumbly remains of old rock walls and like old foundation. Twilight trails off talking to herself. She's like, She starts walking closer to look. And then Princess Celestia shows up and she's like, hey, Twilight, the other students are arriving now. You wanted to meet them, right? Aren't you excited? Let's go. Let's go say hi to them. Twilight is immediately distracted. She's like, oh, sweet. And they walk away. But Twilight, of course, does the cliche, like, look over her shoulder, like, what's that, though? So the rest of the cast have arrived, and the first pony that Twilight makes friends with is Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie is like what people expect a My Little Pony to be like. Pinkie Pie is so cuddly. She has the biggest eyes and the fluffiest hair. She has the same really high-pitched voice as the current Pinkie Pie and like the enthusiasm, but the volume's brought down a little. Like, she's a really good listener too. She can go really silent, and it's like scary silent. She'll just sit near you when you need company, and she'll stare at you with her big, unnerving eyes. I figure Pinkie Pie could be a good connecting device just because she could be the first friend that all of the other ponies made, just by virtue of lurking around and being available as a friend. I like the idea of Pinkie Pie being on roller skates, like, constantly, and especially in situations where you should not be in roller skates. Like, the ponies are having some kind of serious conversation with, like, exposition or something, and the whole time you're just hearing this axle clumping sound of Pinkie Pie trying not to lose her balance on her roller skates. Then one pony is finally like, Pinkie, can you take off your roller skates? And Pinkie's like, they're part of my shoes. She's a good friend, but nobody really gets what her deal is. Like, you could walk outside and you'd find Pinkie Pie in a tree, and she's just like slowly waving her arms over her head at a kite. And the kite is like just out of reach. It feels like she could reach it, but she has this spaced out look in her eyes. You're like, hey Pinkie Pie, what are you doing? And she's like, if you catch a kite, you catch a wish. You're like, okay, Pinkie Pie. She moves like she's made of Play-Doh, like her legs aren't connected to her body. Pinkie Pie is so cute. Her design is really simple, so I'm gonna make her a crystal pony. They're the ones with the clear bodies with the glitter inside. They're so sick. I picture the crystal ponies having like ancient Roman culture. That sounds weird. Okay, moving on to Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash is like a pony cop. She's still got that jock thing going on from the last incarnation, but now she's channeled it into this weird authoritarian thing. She's like Javert, and she's a year above them, and she's the hall monitor. She always stands with her legs super straight and her chest puffed out, and she wears some kind of cute, like, uniform hat. I'm not a fashion designer, so don't quote me on the hat. I want to make her shorter than the others, and I also want to make her an earth pony. The others aren't friends with her initially. She's kind of like a comedic antagonist. But then, you know, things happen, they become friends. Okay, and now we're to the part with the Applejack Problem. The stuff in the alleged email mentioned making her like spunky and overcompensating for something, and I like the idea of that. I think kids like an underdog, and they already established that they're okay with mixing up the body types of the different ponies. So here's my thing. How do we fix the hardest sell pony of the main 6? By making her the coolest type of pony that's ever existed. We're gonna make Applejack a flutter pony. Flutter ponies are from the 80s movie, and they're like the elves of My Little Pony. Like, they live in a valley in this weird sun-worshipping community, and they have all this immense power, but the other ponies come to them for help, and they're like, we could help you, but we don't really want to get involved. They're very dignified and mysterious. I would be gesturing more emphatically, but this is very precious to me. Her beautiful wings are very delicate, okay? Flutter ponies are like the same height as other ponies, but they have longer legs and skinnier builds, and they have these really snooty looking bone structures on their faces. So I'm like, Applejack is still a farmer. She is a farmer flutter pony. The flutter ponies all have delicate nature names like Rose Dust and Peach Blossom. And then it's like, there's Applejack. She grows apples on the bad side of the valley. The other flutter ponies are mean to her, okay? She's like the lowest of the flutter ponies, but she got the scholarship to Pony Magic School, working title. She sees this as her chance to reinvent herself, to reboot herself, if you will. So when she gets there, she's like, no pony's gonna know that I'm a farmer. She takes off her cowboy hat and she stuffs it in her bag, because you better believe she still has a cowboy hat. It's not Applejack without a cowboy hat. You don't even really have to change her color palette, although I think the orange should be softened a lot. But she should definitely keep her freckles, because they're cute. So Applejack speaks in this stilted, overly formal way because she's trying to hide her hick accent. But I'm kind of thinking less Texas accent and maybe like a Georgia one. When we first meet her, she's almost like this era's Rarity. Like, she seems kind of prissy and vain, but she's just overcompensating. Applejack is extremely physically strong. She can start a fire with her bare hooves. She can navigate by the stars. She can kill a rattlesnake. I don't know. No, she doesn't. She can track an animal. Let's go with that. So she's like this great survivalist, but all of this is revealed sort of begrudgingly. Like, she thinks it's embarrassing, and all the other ponies are like, no, that's amazing. And when she's stressed or excited, her accent comes out a little stronger. Okay, Fluttershy, I hope you're ready for this. Fluttershy doesn't even go here. She's not a student at the school. Fluttershy is a breezy pony, and they're like the fairies of the ponies. They're like Tinkerbell size. They are a secret community of magical beings, and they live in the eaves of the school, and they go through little mouse holes, which the playsets can have built in, obviously. And they're definitely not supposed to interact with the big ponies, so she doesn't join the group right away. Maybe for a couple episodes, she's just kind of watching them from the corners, maybe helping them in small ways without them realizing that she's doing it. Fluttershy is timid, but she has a strong natural curiosity, and I like the idea of a joke where she seems impossibly shy by normal standards, and then it's revealed that the rest of her community is like even more shy, and they view Fluttershy as like this crazy punk rock rebel without a cause. They speak in even milder, even softer tones than she does, and she says something like hesitant and pretty unshocking, and they like gasp. Anyway, I like the idea of one of them being a wildly different size for storytelling reasons, because she'd be good at like espionage or picking locks. But also from a toy line perspective, all the different ponies' toys are like wildly different from each other. Like, you can't just get your favorite. You need to get all 6 of them, because this one's tiny, and that one's sparkly, and that one has wings. And lastly, we have Rarity, and she's not going to change a whole lot. I love Rarity. So she's still the artistic soul, but I want like a goth Rarity. Like, she has goth eyeshadow and cool boots. She's also a sophomore like Rainbow Dash, and I picture her being taller than the other ones. In this incarnation, instead of fashion design, her art is storytelling. Rarity is the drama club pony, and she's also very into lore and mythology, so she's really good for expository information, but obviously she's a comedic character, so she exaggerates stuff and things might get lost in translation. And Rarity's the one who's like, did you guys know this school used to have 2 founders? There's the Hall of the Sun, where we all go to school, but out on the castle grounds, there's the ruins of the Hall of the Moon. Princess Celestia is the Sun Princess, and she had a sister, and they ruled the day and the night side by side. But her sister, Princess Luna, was jealous of the daytime, and she raised an army of dragons, and mad with power, she threatened to keep the world in eternal night and darkness. And Princess Celestia had to banish her own sister, and legend has it that she locked her away in the moon. And that's why the craters on the moon formed the face of a pony, because legend has it that that's the evil Princess Luna watching and waiting to return. And then Applejack says in her totally not an accent, "I'm sure Princess Celestia doesn't appreciate you telling stories about her family." And then they get in some kind of petty argument about it, but Twilight is looking up off camera, and Twilight's like, "What face in the moon?" And they're like, "Huh?" Twilight's like, "I don't see any pattern on the moon." They're like, "Oh, you have to look at the craters. It's like, it's a face in profile." Like, and they all look up, and the full moon is just this eerie, featureless orb. The ponies are pretty spooked, but they don't want to admit it, so they're like, "Anyway, we better get back to the castle." For Rarity, I like the idea of her being a glow-in-the-dark pony. Like, first of all, I think it's a cool toy feature, but secondly, I like imagining that she wants to go into her room and wallow, and she draws her big velvet curtains, and then her whole body just starts glowing lime green. The glow-in-the-dark ponies live in underground caves. It's like bioluminescence. Okay, anyway, I've talked about this longer than anyone wants to tolerate listening to it, and I'm not going to do like a whole play-by-play rundown of the pilot, but basically, the ponies' paths all cross, they become friends. Friendship is magic. But emphasis this time on the friendship more than the magic. This is weird, but I feel like the strongest scene from the latest incarnation of My Little Pony is this scene where they're on a late night train ride and they're all supposed to be asleep, and they start having this whispered conversation and they're giggling and stuff, and then the dragon character is like, "Can you guys shut up because I'm trying to sleep?" And then one of the ponies is like, "Well, someone's feeling huffy. Huffy the magic dragon." And then they all start giggling uncontrollably again. Like, even in the context of that scene, it was supposed to be a dumb joke, and I just, like, for anyone that's ever been to a slumber party, like, you know what that moment is like. Just being in an absurd situation with your friends and the excitement and the camaraderie of that feeling. I think you can do good character-driven stories and adventure of the week stories without them feeling like they're low stakes or filler episodes. And it would be a linear story, and their relationships would continue to grow because they're not just like a group of friends. They're like individual friendships with each other. And like, there's so much more. I haven't even gotten into their individual magical talents, or Princess Cadence and Shining Armor, because yeah, they're here too, or the boy characters who would really round out the group, or the rival schools. And you might be like, where's Princess Luna though? The most popular character, Princess Luna, she didn't even show up. What's her deal? And the whole point is that that's a twist, but you probably figured it out already because it's for kids, and I was like planting the hints there. Did you figure it out? It's there. It's all there. So anyway, that's why I think Applejack should still have a cowboy hat. Okay, the twist is that Twilight is Princess Luna. This always made way more sense to me. Twilight is a name that's about the nighttime. Princess Celestia was overcome by guilt, so she brought her sister back, but her mind is wiped. She's like powered down baby Princess Luna. And Twilight Sparkle's on the learning track for like plant growing magic, and she's like, I don't know if this is my talent. I don't feel like I'm good at this. And Princess Celestia is like, no, your talent is growing flowers. Congratulations. And Twilight's like, I kind of like astronomy, but I mean, while I'm here, hey, I thought of some modifications. What if I give the flowers teeth? And the princess is like, yeah, keep doing the flower thing. You're doing great. Twilight Sparkle, she's right there. She's just this little roiling ball of evil magic waiting to bust out, unless things are different this time. Princess Celestia is like, ooh, I'm glad she's back, but I have feelings of guilt. I don't want her to turn evil again. And she's pushing her away, but it's painful because the sisters not understanding each other is what made her turn evil in the first place. It's drama. Oh, also, the purple lizard was Spike the Dragon, and I made it purple on purpose. It wasn't arbitrary. Psych!